Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60, and it's new car day. It is, well, absolutely. Well, new to us again. This is well, as with all of our cars, they are a steal. That's sort of the first criteria.
And a huge impulse buy.
And a BMW
that we've wanted forever.
And it's broken as well.
And it's practical.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in my mind to buy this.
But in all seriousness, it is a very exciting car, and I'm actually really excited to introduce it to the channel.
Now, I did sort of tease it a bit in the cluster video. So the cluster that was repaired in yesterday's video is out of this car, and if you picked it, it is an M cluster.
Oh yeah.
It's got the tacho thingy mabob.
Oh yes.
This is a special car.
Very special.
I think we're lucky to get it.
Without further ado, let's fire her up and bring it in.
Well, we can't fire it up.
Well, we'll go get it anyway.
Wait, let's explain. Actually, they'll hear us while we're getting it. So if we start this up for like more than 5 minutes, it stops moving.
Which we learnt the hard way.
So we'll bring it into shot elegantly.
Oh, it's so heavy. It's very heavy.
Okay. Oh, we're going downhill now.
Yeah, you ready to jump on the brakes?
Yep.
Nice.
That handbrake works. That's probably a bit too soon. Let's go a bit more.
Yep.
Okay. Here it is. Guys, this is our new
X5M.
Pretty much an X5M, isn't it?
Pretty much. Alpina.
No. In all seriousness, it is a 2003 BMW E53 X5 4.6iS.
And that's the special part. If you guys aren't familiar with the X5 series, well, as you know now, you'll know now that there's X5Ms available at the top of the X5 range. Prior to any X5 models ever being a thing, they ran the BMW X5iS models.
Yeah, actually, there's been a few special BMWs with the IS badge over the years, like the 335iS in the States. You got a special thing, and I guess this is the same sort of thing, but in my mind, it's an X5M.
100%. Well, it's because there wasn't an X5M at the time. All you had was this. This is what you bought if you wanted the best X5 money could buy.
Should we give them a bit of a walk around and show them what makes it special over a normal E53?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. So I think we'll start with the outside because that's where we are. And visually,
looks quite good.
It's got some subtle changes. So basically what you get with the IS, you get different front and rear bumpers, and you get this like mini like aerofoil thing because it's basically a race car. You get flared guards, or flared arches I should say. Now the side steps are quite common on the IS models, but you can option them on the normal one. But I think they look kind of cool. Again, we got the flared arch at the front, and of course,
the gigantic
20-inch wheels. Actually, I should have said when we were at the back, but if you just show the dish, they're a 315 wide tyre.
A 315. They are monsters of things in the fronts of what, 275s?
I don't know. 275s.
275. So in 2003, they would have been huge.
For a car that's 20 years old, having that sort of stance about it is pretty mega.
Oh, of course, in beautiful Imola red, which if you have seen our other videos, you'll know we do love this colour on the Beamers.
Yeah, same as Phil's 330. And it was definitely a special colour. I mean, I would love for your E39 M5 to be Imola red. But
I'd like that to be parked.
It is definitely
next
a special
to it.
colour. Actually, now, that's the basics of the outside. Let's have a quick look on the inside, which is locked. So, as you enter the cabin, the IS model. Now this is where I get a bit vague on this because this one has definitely got a different seat to what you could get in the normal X5s. It's basically the sports seat, but it's got like a cloth Alcantara center with the leather on the outside, which that's become a bit of a trait of M models later on in the generations. It is pretty much the top spec interior that you could get in the E53, so black headlining, sunroof, top of the range stereo.
I could be wrong. I'm trying to work out what these seats, they look familiar. And I mean, obviously they're different to my M5 seats. If anything, they kind of look like E46M seats.
They're small. And I think, so I used to have an E53 X5, just the normal 4.4. Actually, it was the LCI, but its seats felt bigger than these. These feel quite compact, and they're quite nice to sit in. They are a sports seat. And quite deep as well. I don't know if the GoPro picks it up, but the side bolsters are actually...
It's very sporty.
Fairly deep. Aside from that, they all sort of seem to be spec'd. Well, actually, I suppose you could get different ones. All the ones I've ever seen have this silver trim.
Yep.
Which is quite nice. Black dashboard. The M cluster is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's got the same cluster as an M5, which means I'm still not going to start it up because we need to keep the transmission cool.
More on that later.
I don't know why the boot just opened.
But as you can see, you get the light up temperature, RPM thing, so as the oil warms up.
And 178 k's.
Boom, that is amazing.
So they are a pretty special car. The most important special thing is the engine though, because it is a 4.6 litre.
Yeah, so like as we're here in the interior, you get some other goodies like heated seats, and you get the full like sat nav, which in 03 was pretty cool. However, all of that is dead actually. Well, sorry, the sat nav works, but the screen's dead and no audio comes out.
It's getting an Android.
Yeah, pretty much. So whatever. But the heart of the beast, and a lot of people don't actually know this about the X5iS models, but this is the M62 TU B46.
Now you were trying to get one of these motors before you got your M5 because it's a little bit of a known fact that if you put one of these in a 540, it's a nice little upgrade over the 4.4 litre and getting close to an M5 sort of spec.
Yeah, basically if you put that engine, so for you guys that don't know, the 4.6 litre M62 was used in the Alpina B5 in there, which was essentially the luxury version of an M5. It had automatic transmission, so you can actually put that engine, which is in this X5iS, straight into an E39 540. All the electrics work, everything works, and if you do manifolds and get it breathing properly, you pretty much have M5 power.
Am I right in thinking guys that have done that, like you said, you do the manifolds, remap, and then you're at 400 horsepower,
yep,
which is pretty much on par with the 39 M5?
Yep.
So there's some potential in here, which we really like.
It really is a very special engine. That is the engine that Alpina have in their B5s.
So we are aware of these. We've been watching the prices of them, and I've seen these even in the last sort of 2 or 3 months. I've seen people asking over 20,000 Australian for an IS.
Yep.
Admittedly, in better condition than this one.
Yeah.
But we need to be honest about why we bought this. Why did we buy it, David?
So I can put the engine in. Not really. Because if you saw the trailer video, you know that our Transit is dead. And to be fair, it is a terrible tow car anyway. It has
no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. It has no power. Even when it was new, it had no power. And we really need something that will actually tow a car up a hill, which this X5, when it's working, should do very nicely.
We do like the X5, but why did we buy this one?
Because it was cheap.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
It was $3,000.
Yeah, so $3,000 for everything you can see here. And the engine is actually mint.
We will start it up in a minute, but the reason that we haven't started it up yet, and we've literally rolled it down from the house, is there's a slight issue with the transmission.
Yeah.
Only a small thing. It's a niggly little issue.
It's fine for a bit.
When it's cold, it feels normal.
Yeah.
But as it gets up to temperature, it doesn't move.
It just slips lots.
The transmission just slips.
And then goes into fail-safe mode.
And that's why it was cheap. I think we were quite lucky to get this. The gentleman that we bought it off was a proper petrol head. He had... What did he have? He had this. He had a new X6 that was really highly spec'd and optioned. It looked awesome. He had an Evo 10, and he had a MX-5 race car, and he had a Porsche Boxster.
Yeah, in the garage.
So this was what he was using to tow his race car around, and that could explain why the transmissions come to an early death. But he was the sort of dude that just spent whatever needed to be spent to keep cars maintained. In fact, we've got a wad of receipts in the glove box from the last 3 or 4 years for over $8,000 in maintenance in this car. And then he was nice enough to just sell it for $3,000.
Yeah, to be fair, he was just over it. He just wanted it gone. It was parked out the front, just lived in the sun, which we can talk about the paint later, but basically there is not a panel on the car where the clear coat is not peeling. There's bubbles on the other side.
Like the paint's a bit questionable.
Yeah,
it's going to need some paint work.
Bizarre.
It has got... We've focused a bit on the bad things. Let's focus on some good. It's got new tyres.
Yep.
He put them on just before the transmission decided it didn't want to be a transmission anymore.
Yep, so saved a few dollars there.
And he put a battery in it in May, so about 4 months ago. So new battery, new tyres.
Also overhauled the cooling system, which these M62s, this generation of engine, the V8 engine from BMW, are known to be, well, their Achilles heel is people getting stuck on the side of the road after something in the cooling system lets go. And literally everything has gone over in the engine, so we're safe in regards to that.
Well, he's the sort of dude, he never actually said why he did it, but he replaced the crossover pipe in the valley, which is a common leakage point.
They do leak, yeah.
But instead of just doing that, he's done that, the water pump, the radiator,
all the hoses, the fan
hub, the thermostat, every hose. Like, he could have fixed it for like $500, and instead he spent nearly $4,000 just trying to make sure he doesn't encounter any more issues. And to me, they're the type of guys that you really want to get the cars from.
Yeah, just while we're talking about the engine, the only thing that hasn't been done, which would be brilliant if it had, was the timing chains.
No. Now, we were a bit concerned about that, and we tried to use that as a bit of a bargaining point, although he was having none of it.
He was not interested, that's fair enough.
But he did list this as having 190,000 kilometres, which is sort of fair enough. But we didn't know when we went to buy it, and he wasn't sure exactly the kilometres on it. We could only just about see the 1 on the cluster.
Yeah, if you didn't see the previous video on the cluster, it's because the cluster, all the pixels were dead. So we tried to confirm the kilometres, and he wasn't sure. So we just sort of had to take his word on it. We were kind of expecting it to be over 200,000 kilometres for this price and condition. However, now that the cluster's fixed, you can actually see it's under 180. So that was another win for us.
So I'm thinking we're going to have to do some work on the gearbox. I've done some Googling, and naively, much like when we helped our old man buy his 330, I didn't realise these had a special gearbox. So the iS actually has its own gearbox. I was thinking we'd just be able to get one out of any 4.4 and chuck it in.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the iS does have a bigger torque converter and actually has an extra clutch plate in one of the gears. So there's a few little differences in the ZF5HP24, I think it is. Which means we're not going to be able to get one from a wrecker, but it's going to be a good project to learn how to do these transmissions and fix it ourselves.
Yeah,
in theory.
And we really should have. We picked this car up only the other day, and we should have been filming it. But to be honest, it was in Brisbane City, and because we haven't got a tow car, we couldn't tow it, and because we can't.
We got to be honest, we got played a little bit. He took us on a test drive.
Yeah, but he did say, I would rather, when we said, okay, we will take it and we will drive it home, he did say, I would rather you didn't. And we're like, and honestly, because he started the car up, bang, out the driveway, took us around the block, and it felt absolutely, well, it slipped a little bit.
It slipped once as he turned a corner on a sharp hill, but he drove it quite quickly, and it pulled, and it felt like the transmission was gripping and biting really, really well. Like, it felt like, I thought it was just going to be low on oil.
And he, to be fair, he wasn't very gentle with it. He would just punch the accelerator, and I thought maybe it was his driving style that was causing it to slip. He would load it up before the gears were properly engaged. So we just thought, screw it, we'll drive it home, we'll be sweet. However,
4 hours later,
we left his home, got into the city traffic, and that's when it started just slipping through every gear and losing drive completely. So it was just
it was a matter of every time it starts slipping, you literally had to pull over and let it cool down. And then you could get another 10 or 15 minutes of driving and then do the same thing. And so it took a long time to get home.
Yeah, there was a lot of hazards on the highway.
Luckily, it was peak hour.
Yeah. Any of the truckies that we pissed off, I'm so sorry. There was like nothing you could do. It would just lose drive. But look, we got it home, and the first thing we actually did, we thought, because your old X5, one of the times it slipped once and then went in fail-safe mode.
Yes.
And it was just low on oil.
Yeah. And so I was hoping it was going to be the same with this. But
yeah. So the second we got it here, we just went under it, checked the oil, and it was a little bit low, but topped it up to the right amount, and it just does the exact same thing. So
what are we going to do with it? We are going to initially fix the gearbox before we do anything else, so make sure that it will actually work.
Pretty much, yeah.
But from that point on, it's basically going to become a bit of a runaround, so we're not running around in the high-power 335 or Dave's E39 M5, but also we will use it as a tow car. So if we're doing any events where we're likely to break something, we'll tow one of the cars down on the trailer on this. So if we break the M5 or the 335, we can at least get them home without having to pay a towing. And I'm kind of excited about it. I want to, hopefully the gearbox repair isn't too expensive.
Yeah, that's the first hurdle we have to cross. Hopefully we can, and look guys, there's no other way to do this. Other people that have had a similar issue, if they take it to obviously to any BMW dealer or even any like Euro specialist, they just say, yep, new gearbox. Which again, we naively thought that it would just be the same as all the other X5s, but they are specific for this car. So that's basically out of the question. If we have to do that, it's not worth repairing.
Financially viable.
So
however, I think we'll be able to work this out. I think we're going to be able to rebuild this, repair it, find out what's wrong. I've got faith. What haven't we fixed so far?
That'll be
after that cluster repair. We got any?
It's just basically we are going to have to drop that gearbox out, split it open, and try and fix it. But
once the gearbox is done, we'll give it a bit of a tidy up and try and restore it. Like spend some good money on the paint work. We need to find someone that can paint, because the guy that's painted your M5 is pretty much booked out for another 6 months.
Yeah, and look, after having a good look at this car here, it needs a lot of paint, more than I initially thought.
And it's clear coat peeling, which is really annoying. It's such a shame. It's not like it's been in an accident or it's been badly repaired before. It's just Queensland sun eating away.
Yep. On top of that, we need to restore all the headlights are restorable. They can be cleaned up, but the tail lights have had quite a lot of sun damage and they're actually cracked and split. So I think we're going to have to replace them. You can see all this hazing here, and there's actually lots of little fractures throughout the lights.
He was a proper petrol head. He had a Ducati as well.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He was living the dream.
And yeah, it's got the premium sound system with the subwoofers.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work, but like I said, she's
more things to fix.
Yeah, it's going to get an Android.
But I mean, look how tidy that is in there. It doesn't look like a 20-year-old car. It needs a detail, it needs a clean, but there is a lot of potential to really end up with quite a nice special BMW.
Yeah, so once we've done the headlights, the tail lights, the paint, after the gearbox, then we'll do the Android and get it sort of modernized with some nice features, run probably the iBus app in there as well, so we can monitor everything.
I'm really looking forward to it. I've always liked these, always felt like they were the OG X5M.
Yep.
And it's awesome that we've managed to get one at a sensible price that we can sort of fix and do up ourselves and hopefully not owe too much money.
Fingers bloody crossed. And look, so that's the plan with this thing so far. As always, if anyone in the comments knows more than we do about this beast, then please let us know. Share any hints or tips, or if you can help with this project in any other way, please let us know.
Or if we got any of that information wrong. To be honest, we've always liked these, but we've done a lot of learning and Googling over the last couple of days about them.
Look, again, the main reason why I've always really liked the ISs is for that link with that Alpina 4.6.
It's a special engine.
So look, we're gonna have to get this inside and up on the hoist so we can start working on it pretty soon.
Basically, we've got a busy week ahead because my axle should be here this week.
Oh gosh.
Your M5 should be back this week.
Oh gosh.
And I think if we don't get this gearbox out tonight, it might not happen for 2 or 3 weeks. And we need to get it out, get it apart and work out what parts we need to order. So we need to get it up to the shed.
It's gonna be an issue just trying to get this thing in the bloody shed door, to be honest.
And basically driving it back from Brisbane, hills like this are exactly what this gearbox doesn't want right now. It does work better in manual mode. In fact, I think we're gonna get up there okay if we keep it cool.
While it's cold, don't hang about, just fire up straight up. However, look, I want to show these guys what this thing sounds like, man, because it is a beast.
I'm so happy with my tacho repair, cluster repair. It's quite quiet now, actually.
It's very quiet.
I'm not going to rev it yet because it's cold. We'll rev it when we get to the top and we've got some heat in it.
Yeah.
But come and have a listen to how quiet the engine is.
And that's also why I'm not too concerned about the chains, because this thing is silent.
It sounds... Well, I think he's genuinely looked after it.
It is so smooth. There is no vibrations, no hesitations.
All right, before it gets too hot, let's try and get it up to the top.
Give it a give it a bit of a squirt so you can hear what it sounds like.
Stock exhaust. That's $3 grand. I don't want to rev it anymore.
No, but that's so crisp and clean. Well, it's not crisp, but it sounds like a monster.
Hop in, let's see if we can get it up.
I love it. So, I love it so much. In fact, once it's working properly, I think we should try and get it going even a little bit better.
I want to show them as well, because I didn't show them in the cluster video. All the dials are working. I was confident I'd cock that up.
Oh, damn it, I love those. I love those clusters too. It was like one of the things I was excited about when I finally got an M5.
All right, actually, I better put it in manual, because that's what it likes best.
Yeah, see, so like this, guys, when it's cold, it drives...
Shall I try and accelerate?
Do it, yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that's what it did on the test drive.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It really pulls quite tight.
And look, even
to me, makes me smile. I love X5s.
It's weird, and we are weird about old, like this generation BMW. But if you haven't been in one, they are properly nice cars, especially the IS with all of its extra goodies. And although the gearbox is effed, even if it was slipping on the test drive like it does, we still would have bought it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like a bit of a challenge, and I think we'll fix it without it costing too much money. Fingers crossed. Dude,
if it fits in that door, which it doesn't look like it's going to.
I'm pretty happy about this, and it's the sort of thing that I don't think either of us want to sell. It'll be a keeper forever. I know it sounds silly, it's just an X5, but it's...
Well, it's not just an X5,
the
it is
original
the IS,
X5M.
which, to me, I said it before, it's basically the X5M before you get an X5M. Or it's an Alpina X5, whichever way you want to look at it, she's special.
Cold AC, everything's... It's pretty
quiet, smooth. We've got a little bit of a crack here, so there's plenty of things to fix, but the actual gearbox is the first port of call.
The main thing, and I think once we've given it a good detail, it's going to look really good. Like the carpets are tidy.
Well, and a respray as well.
Even the headliner's not sagging. Look at the back seats. Never been sat in.
Yeah, the only thing is the front seats, because they're this weird sort of like M material.
Just that one there. I hope we might be able to glue it or something.
Yeah, it's wearing a little bit. I just don't want to, obviously, because we're going to use this car, this will be like our most used car once it's fixed. I don't want to ruin those seats, so I don't know if we should replace them, or do we put seat covers on them, but then you don't get the cool seats?
I don't like seat covers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do to preserve them.
Dude, get some more heat in it. You want a bigger rev?
Hell yes.
Ready?
Yep. Oh. Yes. Oh, what a monster. I can't wait until it's fixed and we can do a 0 to 60 on this thing. Like, she's nearly 20 years old. It'll be interesting to see what it actually does.
Anyway, we've been off there, we've been nattering on. We're pretty excited about this. It's something, it's a special BMW. What isn't there to be excited about?
It's beautiful.
We're gonna, basically, we'll give you an update once we know what's wrong with the gearbox and yeah, clean it up, and you will see a proper video once we've actually spent some time in it and driven it properly.
Hell yes.
But hopefully, man, hopefully it's gonna be reliable, touch wood.
Yeah.
If we don't modify it too much, it'll be a reliable tow car for us, and we won't be reliant on the old diesel clunker all the time.
Yeah, which barely pulls an empty trailer up a hill.
All right, let's end it off there.
All right, thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.